Vietnamese Minister of Industry and Trade Vũ Huy Hoàng and European Commissioner Karel de Gucht officially announced the launch of free trade negotiations between Vietnam and the EU on June 26, 2012. The two sides have their own objectives in the negotiation. Vietnam wanted to expand exports of textiles, footwear, agricultural and fishery products to the EU, while European countries were looking for investment opportunities and markets for their technology and services. After 13 rounds of negotiations, the final package of commitments related to intellectual property rights, government procurement saw the two sides come close to agreement. After 2.5 years and 14 rounds of negotiations, Vietnam and the EU reached an agreement in principle on the free trade agreement. Vietnam is the second country after Singapore to have signed a free trade agreement with the EU. Vietnam will have greater competitive advantage than countries such as Malaysia, Thailand, and China in exporting products to the EU. Thank you very much for joining us. So the first question, what is the opportunities and the challenges for Vietnamese enterprises joining this EVFTA?
We will have the broader export market for the Vietnamese product. And you know that Vietnam has more competitive advantage than China, Thailand, and Malaysia. Remember that Vietnam is the second country in the regions. Finished FTA with the EU after Singapore, so our Vietnamese product will be cheaper in the EU market than the ones from China, Thailand, and Malaysia. And the other advantages for Vietnamese people is that Vietnamese consumer will enjoy the high quality products imported from EU. It's challenges for the Vietnamese enterprise. The rule of origins will be one of the most difficult challenges for Vietnamese enterprise. If we talk about the agricultural products, we have to show them where the products are grown, how they are grown, and how they are preserved and packaged. It is not easy for Vietnamese enterprise working in the agriculture sector.
While Vietnamese enterprises are becoming more aware of the opportunities and challenges posed by the EVFTA, the media and newspaper in EU member countries have expressed positive views about the FTA. The British media has positive review about the potential consumption of alcohol and beverages products in Vietnam, especially given the popularity of Scotch whisky. Germany's HNA looks at Vietnam as a new attractive destination for investment. The newspaper quoted that with half of Samsung mobile devices sold worldwide are made in Vietnam, Vietnam is even more attractive than China in terms of investment. Austria's Die Presse focused more on the service sector. They predicted that business related to services will grow even faster than commerce and investment once Vietnam opens its financial and telecom sector. With all of the opportunities and the challenges that we just discussed, so how do you think the Vietnamese enterprise can make the most out of this FTA?
Actually, I don't see the direct competition or competitiveness between the Vietnamese enterprise and the EU enterprise, because the export products from Vietnam to EU market and the one imported from the EU to Vietnamese market are complementary. I think the Vietnamese enterprise will get more benefit. Actually, you see that the tax reduction process for the products imported into each other market of the two sides are not asymmetric. We will have immediately 99% of the tariff light into the EU market, lower to 0%. But for EU to Vietnam, it is 71% only. So this means that our product will be cheaper, faster in the EU market than the products of EU in Vietnamese market. We can export more. Meanwhile, the competitions of the European companies is not severe right away. So we still have some time to build up our competitiveness, and I think this FTA is more beneficial for Vietnamese enterprise.
Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.